iShiny's blue team are behind right now by a decent amount. iShiny's blue team are behind right now by a decent amount.
But anyway, here we go, we're live. Technical difficulties are hopefully over, but probably not. Oh, that's actually kind of loud now. Let's go ahead and turn that down in my own ears. Oh my god. I did not prepare for this. I saw. Yeah, I am noticing a little bit of that. That one I'm not 100% sure on what to do with. Oh, that's a good start. Ah, okay. I see why they needed the disclaimer now. Individuals suffering from anxiety or depression may not have a positive experience playing this game. Let's fucking go, boys! Would you like to review detailed content warnings which contain spoilers? Alternatively, in-game content warnings can be enabled in the settings menu. That's actually really cool. I have something of an idea of what's coming, so I'm gonna skip the content warnings. But yeah, it is October the 21st, which I have been told is spooky season. So we're gonna do the thing right and play some psychological horror video games. By playing Doki Doki Literature Club, you agree that you have noted the game's age rating in your region and you consent to your exposure of highly disturbing content. Yup. You gotta wonder, were any of those warnings in the original version? I'm gonna go ahead and turn that down just a smidge. Is that too loud for you guys, or is that just a my own headphones problem? Huh. Alright, I don't know what to do about the echo. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that too. I'm just not sure. I'm not completely sure what to do about it. Did that help? Okay, you know what? Yeah, I think I found it. I think I figured it out. Alright, sweet. There we go. Alright, baller. So we're looking at... You know, let's look at settings, actually, just to see what we got. Oh, yeah, no, text speed, you gotta... Yeah. Yeah. Auto forward time? Okay, sure. Dialogue box. I kind of wish it would show you what you're looking at, you know? Maybe get like an example, get like a sample dialogue box to see here. You know what? I will tell it to enable the content warnings, so that then if folks are watching and want to not watch because shit's gonna go down, that would be cool. Skip options. Okay, this is my first time. I'm not gonna fuck with that. Audio. We'll turn the music down just a smidge. Alright, that looks good to me. Oh, Saw's playing some Pokemans Unite. Alright, new game. Please enter your name. There's only letters, hyphens, and apostrophes. Ox. Oh boy. Oh, am I doing voices? Yes, it is, Sim. This is I have never played it. I am like, obviously the cultural seal is broken. I know it's horror. Like I know what I know somewhat what I'm in for. I'm gonna move my glorious visage up here. There we go. I'm probably not gonna do voices. I might at least read it out loud. Just because I feel like if you don't do that, what the hell's the point of streaming a visual novel? So unknown speaker says, "Hey." I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. Oh, hey Violet. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Oh no. Oh no, it's already happening. I overslept again, but I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. You say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean, Ox. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine. But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to. Yeah, whatever you say, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Ox, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm really not interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either. What? That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Ah, get wrecked. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Oh. Ooh. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. Shit. Shit, she's right. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Alright, alright. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside her head. Friends let friends when they think they'll be needs. Yeah, no, it tracks. Drag your friends out of the house, everybody. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. How do you get to no choice but to... No choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the room. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but it's like just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know... Now what? Well, that you could come to my club. Sayori. Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. Meanie. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it'd be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the idea, she inherited the title vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much, anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I was bringing a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Well, don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead or if she's so cunning as to have planned all this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go. You know, I gotta say, I don't know if I'm doing anybody any favors reading this out loud. And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I told you, don't call me a new member. Eh? I glance around the room. Girl 1 says, "Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Oh, strong contender. Sayori always says nice things about you." Seriously? You brought a boy? Says girl number 2. Way to kill the atmosphere. Okay, considerably less strong of a contender. Ah, Ox, what are they? Oh, dear. Oh, no, that's the one. That's the girl, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that bow. Welcome to the club. ... which I can only imagine is my character squinting. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki, says girl 1. Girl 2, whose name is apparently Natsuki, says, humph. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is the one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first year. She's also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori says that quietly into my ear and then turns back toward the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Yuri says, don't say things like that. Oh no. Oh no, she's so cute. Shit. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Ah, well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know... Monica? We're gonna go with Monica, because I'd rather pronounce it the American way than sound stupid the entire time I do this. Monica? Oh, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. Thank you, Saw. You weeb. So wait, so Monica or Monica? I guess Monica probably makes the most sense as a, yeah, okay. Thanks, buddy. Alright, anyway, and it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again, Ox. Monica smiles sweetly. Oh, no! Oh, that's the one. That's gotta be the one. We do know each other well. Or we do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in the class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica. Come sit down, Ox. We made room for you at the table so you could sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so there's one space next to Monica and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Whoa! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. Oh, that's wonderful. The whiskers are drawn with icing and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. That's adorable. Do they have pictures of the cupcakes? Can I see the pictures of the cupcakes, please? So cute. I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know. Just hurry up and take one. Sayori grabs the first one, then Monica. I follow. It's delicious. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing all over her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. This guy gets it. I'm glad I'm also smart about cupcakes in this fictional universe. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... Haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything? Oh my god. Alright, well... I already probably wasn't going for Natsuki, but... I hate tsundere so much. I thought she technically did. Sayori said, well, maybe, but not for, you know, you, dummy. Okay, alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yeah, no, that sounds about right, bud. Like, let's just move on to the women who look like women. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know? I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but at least I do enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monika raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monika that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so... That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monika, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, you know... To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. God, Japanese school culture is so wild to me. Like, I could read up on it forever and still just, like... It would still be that interesting to me. Like, the fact that it goes so in-depth as far as, like, clubs and, like, inter-club rivalry and stuff like that. It's wild. Yeah, so, Monika says, I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monika really is a great leader, Sayori says. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. Monika says, you could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile, but it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah, Sayori says. We'll do our best, Yuri says. You know it, Natsuki says. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monika must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Stay hydrated, kids. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Ox, what kind of things do you like to read, Yuri says. Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? Yeah, that's my boy! God, this guy is just me. I muttered quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Oh no. Oh no. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that could change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Yuri says, well, let's see. Yuri traces the room for teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. Oh, no. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Alright, I gotta get like a chart going. Cause that's a strong contender. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But, you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Ah, okay, so we're playing with the fourth wall already. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I could relate to at the minimal level. Dude, just talk about Goosebumps, man. Just launch into talking about Goosebumps. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri, Monika says. For someone as gentle as you. Yuri says, I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really just can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Natsuki says, ugh, I hate horror. Yuri says, oh, why's that? Natsuki says, well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. Monika says, that's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? Monika says, you left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called... Natsuki says, don't say it out loud! And give that back! Monika says, fine, fine. Sayori says, your cupcakes, your poems... Everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hand on her shoulders. This is harassment. This is harassment, Sayori. Don't do this. Natsuki, I'm not cute. Natsuki, you write your own poems? She says, well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet? Yuri says, I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Monika says, do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. That's a good face. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Sayori says, aw, I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Monika says, okay, I have an idea, everyone. Natsuki and Yuri, both questioning. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then, next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way everyone is even. Natsuki says, Sayori says, yeah, let's do it. Monika says, plus, now that we have a new member, I think it'll help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bonds of the club. Isn't that right, Ox? Monika smiles warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. All four girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, main character. But I'm sorry. I thought. Ox. You all. I'm defenseless against these girls. Let's just go ahead and save that screenshot for future use. just get that text box and frame it. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girl's eyes light up. Yes, I'm so happy, Sayori says. Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey. Yuri says, you really did scare me there for a moment. Natsuki says, if you really just came for the cupcakes, I'd be super pissed. Monika says, then that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Ah, thanks, I guess. Monika says, okay, everyone, I think with that we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monika looks over at me once more. Ox, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monika with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Sayori says, hey Ox, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the two of us depart the classroom and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monika. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Almost like it's a video game. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Oh no. Uh-oh. I notice a distinct lack of the girl I wanted to date. That bodes well. Oh man, so Vivid climax. It's my shonen final move name. It's Vivid Climax. Vivid Starscape. Extraordinary. Unending. Precious. Oh man, oh boy. Vivacious. Ocean. restrained, philosophy, fantasy, treasure, journey, comfort, eternity, adventure, special, I notice these getting darker as electricity. I was not keeping count there, so I guess we'll just kind of see how things go. Monica says, "Hi again, Ox. Glad to see you didn't run away on us." Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Ox. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you, making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack, Natsuki says. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Monica says, Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki flops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys, Sayori says. Ox always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work even without me asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. Ooh, how dependable, Yuri says. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy it's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you, Yuri says. I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Ox can become good friends too, Sayori says. Sayori. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me in. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know. Wait, Sayori. Huh? Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? Sayori says, I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. Alright, I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First off, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Yuri says, is that so? Yeah, I won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright, well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, she says, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Man, looks like no one wants to be bothered today. I slump down into the nearest desk. How am I supposed to occupy myself with something literature-related by myself like this? I guess I could always read some of the book Yuri gave me, but I'm feeling a little too tired to read. I could probably fall asleep right now. I close my eyes and end up listening in on Sayori's conversation with Monica. We're probably going to seem really lame compared to all the other clubs, though, Sayori says. Well, we can't give up. Monica says, the festival is our chance to show everyone what literature is all about. The problem is that the idea of a literature club sounds too dense and intellectual, but it's not like that at all, you know? We just need a way of showing that to everyone. Something that speaks to their creative minds. Sayori says. That doesn't solve the problem, though. Monica says, hey, what do you mean? Even if we came up with the most fun thing ever, nobody will come in the first place if it's a literature event. So it's more important to figure out how to get people to show up in the first place, you know? And after they come, we can do the thing to speak to their creative minds. What's this? Sayori's taking this really seriously. It's rare to hear her deliberating like this. Huh, that's a good point. In that case, you think food will do the trick? What kind? Sayori says. Monica says, well, I guess we could. Cupcakes! Good thinking. Natsuki would love to do that. You're right, Sayori says. Natsuki makes the best cupcakes. That works out perfectly. Monica says, that wasn't why you suggested it? Sayori says, cupcakes speak to my creative tummy. Cupcakes it is then, Monica says. Exactly, Sam. You gotta bribe him with the food. I'm hungry, Sayori says. Anyway, we still need to work out the details of the event itself, says Monica. You gotta get creative with that tummy. I find myself smiling. In the end, Sayori is still her usual self, but therein lies the unexpected reason I admire her. Unlike me, who has trouble finding any motivation at all, Sayori can put her mind to things and make them come to life. I suppose that's why I ended up letting her get on my case about things. I can't help but wonder what it'd be like to see the world through her eyes. Ah! Oh yeah, no, I mean it's very charming. I can completely understand, like, you know, when the game first came out, when the game first came out, I can completely imagine. Oh, wait, is it still out? Like when I could imagine when the game first came out, people. You know, people just playing it, like, not knowing what was coming, and that would be a hell of an experience, I have to imagine. I opened my eyes to find Sayori's face filling my vision. I nearly fall out of my chair. Sorry. Wait, Sayori says. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. It's your fault for falling asleep like that. This isn't the napping club. Does our school have a napping club? You're staying up late again, aren't you? Sayori says. Now that you're at a club, you're going to have less time for anime, you know. You'll have to get used to it. Don't say that so loud. I glance over my shoulder to see if Monica overheard. I feel you, dude. It's true, though, Sayori says. Yeah, I know. You're always looking out for me, Sayori. It's what I do best. That's a problem. What about you? You look out for me better than you look out for yourself. You're still oversleeping every day, aren't you? Eh? Not every day. Yeah, that's not very convincing. How many days this past week have you gotten up on time? It's a secret. I knew it. Come on, at least give me the benefit of the doubt. I can't even do that. Look, Sayori, it's written all over you. Huh? Sayori glances around at herself. How's it written all over me? You were clearly in a rush this morning. Look, your hair's sticking out all around here. I run my fingertip down the sides of Sayori's hair, trying to straighten it out. Oh no, not the romantic comedy moment. Man, you really need a brush for this. My hair is just really hard to get right. I won't fall for that. There's more than just your hair. Look, your bow isn't straight either. There's a toothpaste stain on your collar right here. I try to wipe the stain off with my finger. But nobody would ever notice that. course they would. Nobody's gonna tell you about it because they don't want to embarrass you. Fortunately, I really don't care about that. Hey, you meanie. And you don't even keep your blazer buttoned up. Seriously, Sayori, why do you think you don't have a boyfriend yet? Eh? That's super mean. Yeah, kinda. Holy shit. That's really mean. Sorry, but you'll thank me later. I start to button her blazer from the bottom. Once you see how much better it looks, you'll change your mind. Oh. Oh, we got the close-up. She says, this is so funny. What is? Well, I was just thinking about how weird it is to have a friend who does these kind of things. Huh? Don't say that. You'll make me feel weird about it, stupid. It's okay, though, Sayori says. I'm happy we're like this, aren't you? I guess. Hey, be careful. The button might come off. Why is this one so hard to close? I struggle to fully close the button near her chest. Ah, yes, we've gotten there, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the part of the dating sim where it is, in fact, a dating sim. Does this thing even fit you properly? It did when I bought it. If you ever buttoned it, you would have noticed sooner that it doesn't fit you anymore. What are you smiling about? It means my boobs got bigger again. Don't say that out loud! Anyway, you look much better now, so... Why does it feel strange to see Sayori's blazer buttoned up like that? That's so stuffy. What do you mean, why does it feel strange? You've had health class by now, right? It's not worth it at all. Sayori hastily unbuttons her blazer once more. Whew. It's so much better. Sayori puts her arms out and twirls around. So if I keep it unbuttoned, then I won't get a boyfriend, right? What kind of logic is that? And why are you saying that like it's a good thing? Because if I had a boyfriend, then he wouldn't even let you do things like this. And you take care of me better than anyone else would anyway. Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's why I'm keeping it unbuttoned. Who's here? Oh, we got... Stop saying all these embarrassing things. Huh? I didn't say anything embarrassing. Jeez. Well, anyway, just focus on trying to wake up a little earlier. Sayori says, only if you focus on going to bed earlier. Fine, fine. It's a deal. Sayori says, I guess we really are better at taking care of each other than we are at taking care of ourselves. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Sayori says, so maybe you should come wake me up in the morning. You're doing it again, Sayori. Aw, but I was joking that time. Man, it's impossible to tell with you sometimes. Monika says, okay, everyone. Eh? Monika suddenly calls out, why don't we share the poems we wrote now? Yay. Ox, I can't wait to read yours. Yeah, same. I failed to sound enthusiastic, but Sayori still trots away to retrieve her poem. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing that too, Sam. Like, I'm really wondering, like, who's the most fucked up. Monika says, by the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? Sayori says, I can't wait. Sayori and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monika wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Oh boy. Oh no. Choices. Yuri seems the most experienced, so maybe I should start with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Oh! Sorry, I forgot to start speaking. It's fine, don't force yourself. I'm not. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah. Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. Ah, so it's that bad. No. Did I just raise my voice? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. It might take Yuri a while to get used to new people. It's fine, I really didn't notice. What were you saying? Right. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. That's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, or me, or Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers, I flicker back. It's really nice. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Huh? That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. No, not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Ox. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all, but remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. Oh God, everyone is depressed. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things, too. Yeah, maybe you're right. I guess I'll have to keep trying. I'm counting on you. Who should I show my poem to next? Monica says, "Hi, Ox. Having a good time so far?" Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we could do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Ox. Well, we're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. I like this one. It makes me think of something Sayori would like. Is that so? You and Sayori are really good friends, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you had those sorts of things in common. Ah, well, we may be good friends, but Sayori and I are actually really different. Well, that may be the case, Monica says, but maybe there are also some similarities that you wouldn't expect. The way she talks about you, it sounds like the two of you really care about each other's well-being. Even if you show it in different ways, it ends up being more similar than you'd think. So I think that's the kind of vibe I get when reading your poem. You sure you're not reading into it too much? I could be. Oh gosh, I sound like Yuri. But in any case, Sayori's writing has a kind of gentle feel to it. I can tell that she likes exploring with emotions like happiness and sadness. Who knew that someone so happy would enjoy sad things too? Yeah, that's totally unexpected. Well, to each their own. And you shouldn't be afraid to experiment a little bit either. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. It's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. A hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes? A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Oh. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a certain point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Ooh, need some water after that one. That was like really heavy. Alright, who should I show my poem to next? Sayori says, "Oh my goodness, this is so good, Ox." Huh? I love it. I had no idea you were such a good writer. Sayori. You must be seriously overreacting. I'm not a good writer at all. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. Well, maybe that's why. Because I have no idea what I like either. Jeez. Yuri's opinion was way more constructive than this. Maybe even Natsuki's. Are you sure you don't like it just because I wrote it? Eh? Well, I'm sure that's part of it. I think I understand you better than a lot of other people, you know? So, when I read your poem, it's not just a poem, it's an ox poem. And that makes it feel extra special. Now, I'm sure that... I like that. I'm sure that it's supposed to be, I'm sure that there's supposed to be a, you know, like, the idea is that it's just, it's a, and then your name poem, and it doesn't, like, take into account if your name starts with a vowel. So it doesn't have, so it doesn't change to Anne, but I'm choosing to interpret it as it's a ox poem. And that makes it feel extra special. Like I can feel your feelings in it. Sayori hugs the sheet against her chest. You're so weird, Sayori. I'm really happy just that you wrote one. It reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See, Sayori says, it's like I said before, Ox. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined, knowing how much this means to her and all. Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That'll be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that then. Yay, Sayori says. Now, you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. Yeah, we'll see about that. Dear Sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Oh, that is, I mean, that's another kind of sad one, but it ends cute. Sayori, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No, just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Yeah. I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Really? Sayori says. Yeah. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late to school? It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. This was so much fun. Monika's the best. Yeah. But next time I won't forget, and I'm gonna write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I look forward to it. Who should I show my poem to next? I guess it's Natsuki. Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me, it's not like I said it was bad. I just didn't evoke any emotions. So, basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes? Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it? Oh my god! Holy Christ! Are you okay? Yeah, I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, Because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly, Natsuki says. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard, like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then I made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. Oh, so you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care about how old everyone is, but if Natsuki's feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Whew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems could stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monika are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Natsuki says. Eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Yuri says, thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How could that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it. And Ox did, too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And Ox liked my poem, too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? That's not what you're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Ox appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Natsuki says, huh, and how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Sayori says. Is everyone okay? Natsuki says, well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Ox started showing up. Natsuki, Yuri says. Monika says, Natsuki, that's a little... Natsuki and Yuri, this doesn't involve you! Sayori says, I don't like fighting, guys! Suddenly both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Yuri says, Ox, she's just trying to make me look bad. Natsuki says, that's not true. She started it. If she'd get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Ox. Yuri says, wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Ox? Well... How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing. But whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me, so of course that's gonna be... Oh, man. Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri. Huh? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, but here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it. It becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that I'm sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Natsuki says, are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Monika says, Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her. Sayori says, sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to... Natsuki says, you know what? I'm going to do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Sad time. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash! Natsuki, it was good! It was good! I'm just playing a video game! Sayori says, Natsuki. Monika says she really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything alright? I'm so embarrassed, she says. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, alright, I believe you. Thanks, Ox, you're too kind. I'm thankful to have you as a part of this club now. It's nothing. Yuri says, one more thing. That one thing Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So, what thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm gonna go make some tea. Good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yuri says, yeah. Monika says, okay, everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? Sayori says, it was a lot of fun. Yuri says, well, I'd say it was worth it. Natsuki says, it was alright. Well, mostly. Ox, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome, Monika says. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow, and maybe you learn something from your friends, too, so your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself, I did learn a little bit more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Sayori says, Ox, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier. What do you mean, she says. Between Yuri and Natsuki. Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you. Whew. Ox, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club, but I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest, and I think everyone really likes you too. That's... Every day is going to be so much fun. Looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? We'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat her on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Starscape. Fantasy. Starscape. Unrequited. Oh no! Contamination. Secretive. Sensation. Grief. Dark. Daydream. Tragedy. Oh god! Oh, so many of these! Dazzle. Imagination. Fireflies. Marriage. Afterimage. Infallible. Entropy. Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple of days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me. Hi, Ox, Sayori says. Yo, Sayori, looks like you're in a good mood today. I'm still just not used to you being in the club, that's all. I see. That's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it is always the simple things with you anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kinda hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. It's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Why don't we take a look at your purse, Sayori? Why that, all of a sudden? No reason, really. I just wanted to look at it. Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open. Then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I could see right through you, Sayori. That's not fair. How did you even know? Well, it's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before you came to the club room. So either you're not hungry and wanted an excuse to take a walk, or you planned on conveniently forgetting that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry, so that only leaves the one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, then that means you deserve to feel guilty. Yuri suddenly giggles. I didn't notice she was listening in. Her face is in her book, as always. I wasn't listening or anything, Yuri says. It was just something in my book. Yuri, Sayori says, tell Ox to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. Damn, get her ass. Did I just... I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed in my book. I really like when you speak your mind, Yuri. That doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something bad, now I have to accept the revolution! Retribution. That, still, coming from you, Sayori, I guess there's a little devil inside all of us, isn't there? Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But, Sayori says, you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes, so I had to trick Natsuki into making them! Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. Whap. Ow, what was... A cookie. Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle? It's because I paid my restitution. Retribution. Actually, that one almost worked, Yuri says. I was just going to give it to you, Natsuki says, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It's totally worth seeing your reaction, though. Natsuki! That's so nice of you, Sayori says. I'm so happy. Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite. So good. Sayori suddenly clasps her hand over her mouth. I bit my tongue. You're going through a lot over just one cookie, Natsuki says. She takes a bite of her own cookie. Ah, yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it? Jeez, beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate, Sayori says. Yeah, why do you think I gave you that one? Fine. Still, I'm really happy that you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki and then wraps her arms around her. Ah, jeez, Natsuki says. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off of her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Hey, did you seriously just do that? Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes, Natsuki says. Monika, can you tell Sayori? Huh? Natsuki glances around. Monika's in the club room. Ugh. Where's Monika anyway? Good question, Yuri says. Have either of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me, Sayori says. Yeah, I haven't either. It's a bit unusual, Yuri says. See you, Saw. Take it easy, buddy. I hope she's okay. Of course she's okay. She probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular, after all. Sayori says, eh? You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised, Yuri says. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. That's true, Sayori says. Natsuki says, excuse me. Suddenly the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry, Monika says. Ah, there you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Eh? Sayori says. Monika chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong-willed. Monika's boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monika quizzically glances at me. Never mind that. What held you up anyway? Monika says, well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kinda just lost track of time. That makes no sense, though, Natsuki says. You would have heard the bell ring, at least. Monika says, I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Yuri says, piano? I wasn't aware that you played music as well, Monika. I don't really, Monika says. I kinda just started recently. I've always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool, Sayori says. You should play something for us, Monika. Monika says, that's... She looks at me. Maybe once I get a little bit better, I will. Yay, Sayori says. That sounds cool. I'd also look forward to that. Monika says, is that so? In that case, I won't let you down, Ox. Monika smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry, she says. I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd really love the chance to share once I'm ready. I see. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So, I didn't miss anything, did I? Not really. I chose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. It looks like everyone's already settled down. Sayori somehow already finished her entire cookie. Yuri is back to her book, and Natsuki disappeared into the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I'd feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Well, Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear that, she says. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is entitled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright, I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. Oh shit, that's awesome! Yeah, fucking right. Hey, what's up, Ferret? Alright, well, I guess I'm allowed to start spending money on Paizo products again, so... But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange, Yuri says. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison, and while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart. That's kinda dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Ox? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so, Yuri says. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in, then suddenly when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then, she says, but I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club, after all. Ah, she says, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to, she says. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah, she says. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright, she says. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. Looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do, she says. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's right up against Yuri's and then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. Feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Aw, that's cute. That's cute shit. It's happening and it's only gonna get worse. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb and after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I could feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? She says. Huh? To turn the page? Sorry. I think I got a little distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me so I can turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? She says. How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses all the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Ox, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. It's so embarrassing that you think that. But wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I meant more that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden, she says. Okay, everyone, Monica says. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not... Yuri says, it's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight, then. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning, she says. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters on your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag. Alright, who am I showing this poem to first? Monica says, Hi again, Ox. How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad. I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want me to want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I give my poem to Monica. Alright, great job, Ox. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who just likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. Both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that, Monica says. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Alright, let's take a look. Save me. Oh no. The colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, blue. An endless cacophony of meaningless noise. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms, squeaking, screeching, piercing, sine, cosine, tangent, like playing a chalkboard on a turntable, like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust, an endless poem of meaningless. Load me. Oh, that's interesting. It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. No, I never said that. It's just a kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess. I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of a poem. Sam, it was because the poem opened with "Save Me," so I think it's like a play on like save load, like with a game. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic. The way I wrote the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise. I see. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question, Monica says. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling, or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know when you might change your mind, or when something unexpected might happen. Wait, is this tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Alright, showing it to Yuri next. Let's see what you've written today, Yuri says. Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? Ox, how did you pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing. Maybe that's why you did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her. Yeah, just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy. Are you saying you've never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe that. I really only write for myself, she says, and besides, people would just laugh at me. You really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh. Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote today? Yeah, I do, if it's with you. The Raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences. Well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom, the bread my hungry curiosity, the raccoon an urge. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife, the very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread, fresh and soft, the raccoon becomes excited, or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Each time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. Oh, boy. Oh, goodness. Oh, Yuri. she says. I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. You can't? 'Cause I can! That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style, using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it at face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way, Yuri says. I wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So I sometimes enjoy writing about them. Why do you keep them to yourself? Because they're embarrassing and people would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Ox? Well, yeah, I guess I do. I feel like everyone has a little something like that. The best we can do is respect each other and our individualities, even if it's difficult sometimes and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad you're a good listener. Whew. Oh. Ooh, I like this one, Ox. It has some nice feelings in it. Ah, I'm glad. Still, though, your tone makes it sound like you liked yesterday's poem better. I guess you caught me. Sometimes you know me a little too well for my own good. Well, don't just try to be nice about it. If I'm doing a bad job, then I'd rather just hear it. No. I still like this one, I promise. You know I wouldn't lie to you, Ox. Never, ever. Yeah, I guess so. What made yesterday's poem so great compared to this one, then? Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad, but that's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. Sam says hi.
Hi.
Lenore says hi. I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Yeah, Sayori says, me neither. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought? Aw, you want to write something for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, right, but you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. Huh? Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems, too. Sometimes a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet. Yeah. I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most, but sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug. And make a nice, happy rainbow. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic. It is? Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Ox. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Bottles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams, little balls of sunshine, all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe, and I put that bottle on the shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles, all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle is starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and the crannies. Digging and digging. Scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time has elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally, all done. I open up and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle, but every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, and shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who weren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something, but all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. Oh. Holy crap. Sayori, did you really write this? Of course I did, she says. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever? Yeah, but... I mean, I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot, Sayori says, and I've been really in touch with my feelings lately. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm so used to you being cheerful. Well... Never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good, so you should be proud of it. Aw, thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Yeah, no shit, Sam. Oh my god. Writing is like magic. You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? I hope you keep it up. Yeah, writing's the best. I'm gonna keep writing until I die. Don't get ahead of yourself. Sayori's always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times. Oh my god. Oh my god. She's just got severe ADHD. She's just got... Oh my god. The people-pleasing and hyperfixations. Fuck. But seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Alright, Natsuki. What kind of horrible nonsense. I liked your last one better. Huh? Really? Well, yeah, I can tell you were a little more daring with this one, but you're really not good enough for that yet. It fell flat. That may be true, but I just wanted to try something different. I'm still figuring all this out. I mean, I always like poems that aren't trying too hard. I hate when people try to sound fancy or add more meaning just by using annoying and complicated language. Just make it simple, cute, and to the point. Yuri's head over heels for all this cryptic nonsense, but I see right through that BS. Ha! Making your reader look so hard for all this deep meaning is just an excuse to have no meaning at all. I guess that's one way to look at it. Well, everyone has their own opinion. But my opinion is the best opinion. I'm sure you've figured that out already. Anyway, here's my poem. Maybe you'll learn something. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders, and that's why I'm not friends with her. One time, I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if it doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spider lovers, and I'm gonna tell everyone. Oh my god! Man, I was thinking about doing a couple of streams a week with this, but I think I need a full 7 days to detox before I come back. Ugh. Not bad, right? It's quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was way too short. I was just warming up. I hope you didn't think that was the best I could do. No, of course not. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this poem. I doubt I have to explain it. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies, and it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Anyone would agree that the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. Do you know people like that? Of course, it's about how everyone thinks That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or a guilty pleasure, something that you're afraid if people find out they'd make fun of you or think less of you, but that just makes people stupid. Who cares that someone likes as long as they're not hurting anyone and it makes them happy? I think people really need to learn respect for others for liking weird things. Huh, it's funny. Yuri wrote about something similar today. Huh? Did you say Yuri? Yeah. She said her poem was about an unusual hobby of hers. I didn't really get it, but she said something similar to you, that people shouldn't make each other feel insecure about those things. Really? Well, I mean, Yuri's pretty weird, so I wouldn't doubt that she has some weird hobbies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's not like I would judge her or anything. Natsuki has trouble finding words. I guess I should try not to be so mean to her. If she feels insecure about her weird behaviors and stuff. I mean, I always hate people who make me feel insecure, and Yuri made me feel insecure yesterday. But the way you put it, it sounds like she's learned her lesson. Well, I would say so. Even if her writing style is really different, I'm sure she'll appreciate the message in your poem. It's what I do best, after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like, conveying emotions is important, but I want to make people think, not just feel. Remember that. I'm going to write a good one for tomorrow, so look forward to it. Monica says, okay everyone, we're all done reading each other's poems, right? I have something extra planned for today, so if everyone could come sit at the front of the room. Is this about the festival? Natsuki says. Monica says, well, sort of. Do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can just put together anything good in a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well, Yuri says. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much, Monica says. We're going to keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori has been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets that we can give out during the event. Okay, that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Ah, sorry, I thought you'd heard about it already, Monica says. We're going to be performing. Performing? Monica... Yeah, we're going to be having a poetry performance. Each of us is going to choose a poem to recite during the event. But the cool part is, we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it all on the posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? Natsuki says, You didn't already start putting these posters up, did you? Well, I did, Monica says. Do you really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no, Natsuki says. It's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this, you know? There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that. I agree with Natsuki, Yuri says. I could never in my life do something like that. Imagining it, Yuri shakes her head in fear. Guys, Sayori says. No, Sayori, Monica says. I understand where they're coming from. Remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple of days ago. It's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room full of people. It was real messed up, Sam. It was extremely fucked up. I guess I kind of overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start at the end and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. And the more people who perform, the better we'll be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Yeah, Sayori says, it's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, and having fun. That's right, Monica says, and it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with others? To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all it takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is help them out a little bit. Well, maybe, but Natsuki says... It looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get it over with. Alright, Sayori says. Thanks, Natsuki, Monica says. What about you, Yuri? Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces. I guess I really don't have a choice. Haha, that's everyone, Sayori says. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me, Yuri says. Oh gosh, Monika says, you'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to practice reciting them in front of each other. No way, Natsuki says. Monika? This is too sudden, Yuri says. Well, if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers, Monika says. Oh no. Don't worry, Monika says. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Sayori says. Aha, of course. Now, let's see. Monika flips through her notebook to the specific poem she has in mind for herself. She then stands behind the podium. The title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Monika begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monika. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monika finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monika takes a breath and smiles. That was so good, Monika, Sayori says. Thank you very much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next, Yuri says. Yuri's fired up all of a sudden, Sayori says. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quietly over to the podium. This poem is called... Yuri glances anxiously at each of us. You can do it, Yuri, Sayori says. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens when Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns in its structure that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside her head. Suddenly, she's finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save this situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back into her seat. Yuri, that was really good, Monika says. Thank you for sharing. Looks like Yuri's down for the count. Okay, Sayori says, I guess I'm next then. Sayori hops out of her chair and tearfully walks to the podium. This one's called My Meadow. Sorry, I giggled. Sayori. It's a lot harder than I thought, she says. How did you guys do it so easily? Monika says, try not to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself, like in front of a mirror in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out best that way. I see, Sayori says. Okay then. She begins her poem. Somehow, it feels like your soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it, but hearing it come from Sayori's voice almost gives it a whole new meaning. Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud. I did it! Good job, Sayori. Even Ox liked it. I guess that's a good sign, she says. What does that even mean? It came out really nicely, Sayori, Monika says. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely. But it might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. I don't really understand, Sayori says. Monika says, in other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more force behind them depending on what you're reading. Oh, I know what you mean, Sayori says. Well, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do in front of everyone. Well, then next time I'm going to make sure you pick a poem that challenges you a little more, Monika says. Hi, baby. We don't have much time before the festival, you know. Okay. Now, who's next? Natsuki? Don't make me go before Ox. It's not like I can compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Ox lower everyone's standards a little bit before I have to do it. Natsuki, Sayori says. It's fine. I might as well get it over with. But it's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote for today. I stand up and step in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me, making me feel terribly awkward. I recite my poem. Since I'm not exactly confident in my own writing, it's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I finish, I receive applause anyway. Yeah, will do, Ferret. It's great. It's light and fluffy. It's definitely not extremely heavy. Sorry, I'm not really as good as everyone else. Don't worry about it so much, Monica says. I think it's less about your abilities and more about your lack of confidence in your writing. That's something that'll improve over time, though. Yeah, maybe. Alright then, Monica says. That just leaves you, Natsuki. Yeah, I'm going. Natsuki begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way to the podium. The poem is called... It's called... Why are you all looking at me? Because you're presenting, Monica says. Anyway, the poem is called Jump, Natsuki says. She takes a breath. Once she starts reciting the poem, her sour attitude disappears a little. While she's still unenthused, her poem has a rhythm and a rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style, and it works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down as if giving life to the poem. Natsuki finishes and everyone applauds. She huffs back to her seat. That wasn't so bad, was it? Easy for you to say, Natsuki says. You'd better not make me do that again. Ah well. Do you at least feel prepared enough to recite a poem in front of other people? Natsuki says, I mean, doing it in front of other people will be way easier. I can put on whatever face I want for other people, but when it's just my friends, it's just embarrassing. That's a surprise, Natsuki, Sayori says. I think it'd be the other way around for me. Well, that's just how it is, so... Well, I guess in that case, Monica says, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. That said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. It might be hard, but I hope that you all have an idea of what it's like now. Make sure you pick a poem and get enough practice before the festival, okay? I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. Jeez. I should probably find some other poem to recite instead. That's fine too, Monica says. It doesn't have to be your own. I'm already pleasantly surprised that you're putting in all this effort for the club. It makes me really happy. Yeah, no problem. Okay, everyone, Monica says, I think that's just about it for today. I know the festival is coming up, but let's try to write poems for tomorrow as well. It's been working out really nicely so far, so I'd like to continue that. As for the festival, we'll finish planning tomorrow, and then we'll have the weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. I can't wait, Sayori says. I can do this, Yuri says. Alright. I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori and Monica, but I'll do my best to get through it. If it's for the sake of the club. And impressing Monica, then I'll have to do my best. Ready to go, Sayori? Yep. Look at you two always going home together like that, Natsuki says. It's kind of adorable, isn't it? Monica says. Jeez, guys. Don't make such a big deal out of it. It must be a little nice, though, Yuri says. Well, how am I supposed to respond to that? It's okay, Ox. You don't have to say it, Sayori says. Whatever. Let's go already. I walk home with Sayori once more. Even though it's only been a few days, a lot of things have already changed. But today, Sayori is being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori. Sorry, I was spacing out, she says. Ah, no wonder. I was thinking about something from earlier. I like how we get to... Sayori fumbles with her words. So, let's just say that one day Yuri asked to walk home with you. Huh? What would you do? What kind of question is that? You're kind of putting me on the spot here. Well... Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, I'd feel awful turning her down, so... Isn't she so beautiful and smart, Sayori says? That has nothing to do with what I just said. Ahaha, you admitted it! Jeez. There's not even any point in speculating something that's never gonna happen. Well, maybe, Sayori says, but I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore, you know? Need you? Oh shit, my wife followed me. Damn, now she's gonna see me talking to cute anime girls. Sayori, I can't figure out how you're seeing things in your head right now. Sorry. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you. Sayori says, if you say so. The conversation trails off and I'm left feeling awkward. But it was kind of her fault for trapping me with such a weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that makes her happy, I'd hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point in speculating. And again, the festival is only a few days away. Who knows what'll happen in that time? Alright, let's write some poems. Philosophy, tragedy, landscape, sunny, passion, Valentine, existence, massacre, breathe, insight, contamination, aura, comfort, incongruent, romance, melancholy, graveyard, death, chocolate, unrestrained. Aw man, Monica says, I'm the last one here again. Don't worry, I just walked in too. Were you practicing piano again, Yuri says? Yeah. You must have a lot of determination, Yuri says. Starting this club and now picking up piano? Well, maybe not determination, but I guess passion. Remember that the club wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. And I'm super happy that you're all willing to help out for the festival, too. I can't wait for the festival, Natsuki says. It's gonna be great. Huh? Weren't you complaining about it just yesterday, Natsuki? Monica says. Well, yeah. I'm not talking about our part in the festival, but it's a whole day of school where we get to play and eat all kinds of delicious food. You sound a little like Sayori all of a sudden. Monica, do they usually have fried squid? Natsuki says. Squid? Monica says. That's a pretty specific thing to look forward to. Oh, come on, Natsuki says. Are you saying you don't like squid? You, of all people? I didn't say I don't like it, Monica says. Besides, what do you mean by you, of all people? Because, Natsuki says, it's right in your name. Monica. That's not how you say my name at all. Also, that joke makes no sense in translation. What? Never mind. Let's just focus on our own event for now, okay? Fine, fine. Your reactions aren't as fun as Yuri's or Sayori's anyway, Natsuki says. Excuse me, Yuri says. Where is Sayori anyway? Oh, there you are. Sayori is sitting at a desk in the corner of the room, looking down at nothing. I walk over to her. Hey, Sayori. I wave my hand in front of her face. You're spacing out again. Sorry. Don't mind me. You can go talk to everyone else. Huh? Is everything alright? Of course. Why wouldn't it be? It just feels like you're a little off. Sorry for assuming things. Geez, you worry too much about me, Sayori says. I'm fine, see? Sayori shows me a big smile. Don't let me distract you from having fun with everyone. Well, alright. If you say so. I worriedly glance at Sayori before turning back toward everyone else. But the conversation is already dispersed with everyone back at their usual activities. Maybe I should ask Monica if she's noticed anything about Sayori recently. Since they've been preparing for the festival, they must be spending a lot of time together. I timidly approach Monica, who's shuffling through some papers at her desk. Ox, what's up? She says. Hey, this might sound a little strange, but have you noticed anything up with Sayori recently? Anything up with her? In what way do you mean? Maybe I'm reading into it a little too much, but she seems a bit downcast today. Oh, you think so? I can't say I've noticed anything about her. Monica peers across the room at Sayori, who's idly dragging a rubber eraser up and down her desk. Maybe there is something on her mind. But I'm surprised I'm not the one asking you, Ox. You certainly know her a lot better than I do. Yeah, but she's never really like this. She's always talked to me about things that bothered her. But this time, when I asked her, she was really dismissive. Sorry, I know it's not your problem. I just wanted to ask if you do anything, so I'll drop it now. No, Monica says, it's important to me too. I mean, I'm also friends with her, and I also care about the well-being of my club members, you know? Maybe I'll try talking to her myself. Are you sure about that? She seemed like she wanted to be left alone. Are you sure? Monica says, maybe she just has a hard time bringing it up with the person of interest. Person of interest? What do you mean by that? I'm saying that maybe the thing on her mind is you, Ox. Me? How on earth would you come to that conclusion? Well, I probably shouldn't say too much, but she talks more about you than anything else, you know? Huh? She's been so much happier since you joined the club. It's like an extra light was turned on inside of her. What? No way. Sayori is always like that. She's always been full of sunshine. It's not any different now than it's always been. You're so funny, Ox. Have you thought that maybe the reason you've always seen her as so cheerful is because that's just how she is when she's around you? I said too much. I'm sorry. What do I know anyway? I didn't mean to jump to conclusions, so you should just forget what I said. I'll try to talk to her, so try not to think about it for now. Alright. Monica smiles meaningfully. I know she said to forget about it, but I already know that I won't be able to get her words out of my head. Monica stands up from her desk and walks across the room to where Sayori is sitting. I watch her kneel down next to Sayori and gently talk to her, but she's keeping her voice quiet so that I can't hear her from here. I sigh and sit myself down. I know Sayori told me not to worry about her and to have fun with everyone else, but that's impossible to do when she's behaving like this. Exactly how much do I care about her that I'm letting this weigh me down so much? Now it feels like I'm the one behaving out of the ordinary. But there's nothing I can do besides wait for Monica. Why does it feel like I'm being watched? I glance around the room. Suddenly I notice Yuri peering at me from over her book. But she looks away just as quickly with a flustered look on her face. Yeah, I get that feeling too, Sam. I realize that she won't get anywhere like this. I've never really seen Yuri approach anyone or start a conversation on her own accord. So I have no choice but to approach her myself. By now it's a little easier for me to do that. I stand up from my desk and sit in one next to her own. I didn't mean to bother you or anything, she says. Relax, you didn't do anything. But I could tell that you wanted to be alone with your thoughts. Alone with my thoughts? How were you even able to tell that I was thinking like that? Well, it's something that I do a lot, so it wasn't hard for me to spot based on your posture and expression. Not that I was staring or anything. I didn't do anything creepy like that. Well, in any case, I guess you were right. I'm sorry if I caused you any concern. Don't apologize. Your troubles are only the concern of those who willingly share in that concern. Of course, there are certainly those who find the most comfort in keeping to themselves, but if you'd prefer to share what's on your mind, then I'd be glad to listen. It's not really that big a deal. I was just feeling a bit uncomfortable, or a bit uneasy about Sayori. Sayori, Yuri says. Yeah, she seems a little off today, but when I asked her about it, she didn't want to admit it to me. So I can't help but wonder if something happened to her. Oh, that's quite romantic, Yuri says. Eh? Sorry, I didn't mean to say something stupid. It's not that, I just didn't want you to misunderstand. Sayori and I have just been friends for a long time, that's all. Ah, I see. Then perhaps it is unusual for her to be dismissive to you about your feelings. Or maybe I'm just reading into it a little too much. Ox, the world is full of meaning, often hidden deep beneath plain sight, Yuri says. And there are many untold mysteries behind every person, no matter how well you may know them. Ah, so you think that there might be something behind it after all? I think that Sayori is a very complex person, Yuri says. Her mannerisms on the outside don't always match what may be going on inside her head. And she may not always know what she wants. I noticed her strange behavior today, too, and I also feel some concern for her. But in your case, it looked like she was fully occupying your thoughts, wasn't she? Well, I guess that was the case. Sayori, Yuri says, she really means a lot to you, doesn't she? I guess, but you don't need to put it that way. We're just good friends, that's all. Yuri suddenly looks deeply into my eyes. Her expression is gentle and curious, as if she was searching for something. Embarrassed, I avert my gaze. Sometimes a person's mysteries are untold even to themselves, and you, as someone honest and caring, may uncover feelings you weren't aware were in you. That is, I think that she would be a very fortunate person to have you feel that way about her. Yuri, you're giving me too much credit. I'm a pretty simple guy. So I think I'm pretty good at understanding my own feelings. I'm not nearly as sophisticated as you. Ah, Yuri says, that's not a compliment, is it? It is what it is. Anyway, as long as we're here, why don't we do some reading? Well, as long as you're okay with it, she says. Yeah. I should be taking my mind off this whole thing anyway. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request, she says. Do you mind if I make some tea first? Not at all. Thanks very much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way over to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside. Can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug this in at the teacher's desk and then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not, she says. Shall we go then? Yeah. Where are you two off to, Monica says. Yuri was gonna make some tea, so... I suddenly realize how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher. Ah, okay, Monica says. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? Monica, please mind your own business for once, Yuri says. Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Oxen Club activities? My mouth gapes. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that, Monica says. Well, let's go, Ox. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking, she says. How could I say something like that? Yuri, something about the way she said that, it made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri, I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that. She says, how come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. Here he says, no, wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? She says. Yuri lifts her head. Ox, I really like being friends with you. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you, too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that, but I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway, yeah, shall we go? Yeah. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Ox, do you like oolong tea? She asks. Yeah. Anything's fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do anything less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything? In that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, she says, and I decided that I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do when it's you who's around anyway. That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Ox, she says. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watch Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Ox, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? She says. Why's that? It's a little easier on my back, she says. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Sorry, I didn't realize. No worries, she says. I'll just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. Is that so? I wonder why that is. It's most likely because your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading. Yes, I have terrible reading posture, she says, so that's why we should sit on the floor. Spectacular. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieved the book from my bag. I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it, since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other. I can't see too well, she says. Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup, she says. She hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus, because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. She says, that's okay, I won't take any. Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudges on the pages, she says. You're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize, she says. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder of a time reading from it, but as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri is already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Eh? Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Well, you're just helping, she says. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but... Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, then you don't need to stop or anything. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. There is some... You can cut that sexual tension with a knife, ladies and gentlemen. It's like butter. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I can tell just by her expression that she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers, but this time Yuri's eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips. But it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone, Monica says. Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Ox, you can help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? She says. Yeah, of course. God! Okay, thanks. The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups, Yuri says. Yeah. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Ox, your writing has only improved in these last few days. Every poem you've shown me has been nothing short of spectacular. I can really feel the emotions. I'm a little envious, even. I don't think it ever came to me this naturally. Yuri, that's the wrong way to put it. This never did come naturally to me, but I've been able to improve so much thanks to you. You're really the example I was chasing after. Is that so? She says. Yuri gently smiles to herself. This feeling, I'm so glad I got the chance to share my writing. I never thought it would feel like this. I remember you mentioning that yesterday. I can't believe you're so good at something you'd never even shared it with anyone. It's kind of a shame. Maybe, but it's not like I really had a choice. What do you mean? Well, Yuri smiles sadly. Ox, during lunchtime I eat by myself. Did you know that? It's a great time to find a quiet spot and do some reading. In fact, I always have some books with me. You could say I really enjoy reading. Well, that's one way to put it anyway, but books are so full of amazing and inspiring people. People you want to fall in love with, or people you just know would make a really good friend. Cheerful people who always put a smile on your face, or deep thinkers and problem solvers who discover the mysteries of life. So when you look at it that way, I'm surrounded by friends every day. You know? And those friends don't laugh at me, they don't tease me for spacing out all the time, they don't make fun of my body type, and they don't hate me for acting like a know-it-all. People say that about you? I'm not a know-it-all, Ox. It's the opposite. I don't know anything. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to make people see me as normal. I don't even know how to make myself happy. I have all these feelings, and all I can do with them is read and write. It wasn't until now that I started sharing it with you that I really understood what was missing all this time. But I haven't really done anything. No, that's wrong. Just being patient and respectful, that's really important to me. I know I'm a difficult person, Ox. I speak too slowly, I second-guess myself all the time, I read too deeply into things, but every time, you've always treated me just like anyone else. It's so rare that I feel comfortable with myself when I talk to others, but that's why every time I talk to you, I just feel really happy. I see. Well, I treat you how you deserve to be treated, Yuri, and if other people don't see it that way, then screw them. I mean, I joined this club hoping I would make friends, and I would say I've had at least one success, wouldn't you? If you put it that way, yeah, we really are friends now, aren't we? Yuri puts her head in her hands, but this time she's smiling as she does it. You want to show me your poem? Yeah. I do. Let me get it for you. Beach. A marvel millions of years in the making, where the womb of Earth chaotically meets the surface. Under a clear blue sky, an expanse of bliss, but beneath gray rolling clouds, an endless enigma. The easiest world to get lost in is one where everything can be found. One can only build a sand castle where the sand is wet, but where the sand is wet, the tide comes. Will it gently lick at your foundations until you give in, or will a sudden wave send you crashing down in the blink of an eye? Either way, the outcome is the same, yet we still build sand castles. I stand where the foam wraps around my ankles, where my toes squish into the sand. The salty air is therapeutic, the breeze is gentle yet powerful. I sink my toes into the ultimate boundary line, tempted by the foamy tendrils. Turn back and I abandon my peace to erode at the shore. Drift forward and I return to earth forevermore. It keeps getting worse! Yeah, Nora, in case you missed most of it earlier, which I assume you did, it's cute anime girls in a fluffy dating sim, except they're all horribly depressed, as comes out from their poetry. I'm aware that the beach is kind of an inane thing to write about, Yuri says, but I did my best to take a metaphorical approach to it. You say that like you didn't even want to write about it. Oh, you haven't heard? After yesterday, Natsuki and I, well, it was amusing that we wrote about something similar in such different ways, so Natsuki wanted us to write about the same topic as each other again. I suppose to better compare the differences in our writing styles, or thought processes. Anyway, it was her idea. Knowing her, it's no surprise that she'd want me to do something like that. She probably just wants to show off. It's not like I have a particular interest in her writing style, I just went with her request. But, well, I suppose it's not so bad to write about something simple on occasion. It can be refreshing, you know? It's good for me to calm my thoughts once in a while. Yeah, I think I agree. Thanks for sharing. Alright, well, I guess I'm showing it to Natsuki next, if her and Yuri did the same prompt. This one's alright. Alright. Well, yeah, it doesn't blow me away, but there's nothing I really hate about it. It's just not really my style. I mean, that's fine. Come to think of it, this reminds me of Sayori's poem from yesterday. Eh, you think so? Yeah, well, I guess if you've been friends with her for so long, you might be on the same wavelength. But you never really struck me as her type. Sayori has a type all of a sudden? Well, I don't know, but honestly, how could someone so, fluffy spend so much time with someone like you? It's like she's dragging around a dead weight. That was a little unnecessary. But think of it this way, if it weren't for me, she'd probably just fly away like letting go of a balloon. You could say we take care of each other in our own way. Well, whatever it is, I don't get it. Oh yeah, I guess I'm supposed to show you my poem. Here. I'll be your beach. Your mind is so full of troubles and fears that diminished your wonder over the years, but today I have a special place, a beach for us to go. A shore reaching beyond your sight, a sea that sparkles with brilliant light. The walls in your mind will melt away before the sunny glow. I'll be the beach that washes your worries away. I'll be the beach that you daydream about each day. I'll be the beach that makes your heart leap in a way you thought had left you long ago. Let's bury your heavy thoughts in a pile of sand, bathe in sunbeams and hold my hand. Wash your insecurities in the salty sea and let me see you shine. Let's leave your memories in a footprint trail, set you free in my windy sail, and remember the reasons you're wonderful when you press your lips to mine. I'll be the beach that washes your worries away. I'll be the beach that you daydream about each day. I'll be the beach that makes your heart leap in a way you thought had left you long ago. But if you let me by your side, your own beach, your own escape, you'll learn to love yourself again. Woo! Yeah, I felt like I kept writing about negative things, so I wanted to write something with a nice message for once. Besides, the beach is awesome. Kinda hard to write anything negative about the beach. Well, Yuri's take on it was a little more solemn. Well, geez, she better not have said anything bad about mine. After all, she was the one who wanted us to write about the same topic. Ugh, you can really see her doing that, too. Making us write about a simple topic, then trying to impress me by coming up with something all fancy. Well, it's not like I care. I just did it anyway. I mean, I guess mine ended up being kind of metaphorical, too, but there's nothing wrong with doing that once in a while. At the very least, I thought it was good practice. Sayori says, it's nice, I guess. Come on, I can already tell you don't like it. Well, you don't need to worry about what I think. After all, you wrote this for someone else, didn't you? Probably Yuri. Eh? I didn't write this for anyone specifically. Maybe. That's not really what I meant, though, but it's okay. You're making new friends, just like I was hoping. That makes me really happy. And you're happy too, right? In this club? Well, of course I am. Good. That's all that matters to me. Thank you, Ox. Sayori, is something wrong? Huh? No, nothing. I'm just a little tired today. Alright. Well, just tell me if you need anything. I will. Don't worry about me, okay? You can go play with everyone else now. If you insist. Yay! I'm gonna go home a little bit early today. Sayori, tell Monica I wasn't feeling well, okay? Oh no. Oh. I'll see you tomorrow. Before I can say anything else, Sayori cheerfully walks out of the classroom humming to herself. She didn't give me a poem to read. Who should I show my poem to next? Hi, Ox, Monica says. Have you thought about what you wanted to submit to perform at the festival? Well, being in this club is one thing, but performing in front of a bunch of people, I guess I'll have to give it some more thought. Okay, no pressure, but whatever you do, I'm sure it'll turn out great. It would also make me happy to see. Anyway, let's take a look at today's poem. Sure. I let Monica take the poem I'm holding in my hands. This one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most... romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. Yeah, I noticed that too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Sadly, it's hard to get much more personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in that head of hers. I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that, you must be pretty into her. Huh? You completely misunderstood. Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, really? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. Anyway, I'll share my poem with you now, alright? Okay. The Lady Who Knows Everything. An old tale tells of a lady who wanders Earth. The lady who knows everything. A beautiful lady who has found every answer, all meaning, all purpose, and all that was ever sought. And here I am, a feather, lost adrift the sky, victim of the currents of the wind. Day after day I search. I search with little hope, knowing legends don't exist. But when all else has failed me, when all others have turned away, the legend is all that remains, the last dim star glimmering in the twilight sky, until one day, the wind ceases to blow. I fall. And I fall, and I fall, and fall even more, gentle as a feather, a dry quill, expressionless. But a hand catches me between the thumb and forefinger. The hand of a beautiful lady. I look at her eyes and find no end to her gaze. The lady who knows everything knows what I'm thinking. Before I can speak, she responds in a hollow voice. I have found every answer, all of which amount to nothing. There is no meaning, there is no purpose, and we seek only the impossible. I am not your legend. Your legend does not exist. And with a breath, she blows me back afloat, and I pick up a gust of wind. You know, I feel like learning and looking for answers are the sorts of things that give life meaning. Not to get too philosophical or anything, but it was kind of on my mind, so that's what I wrote about. I see. I never really put much thought into it. In a way, it's almost paradoxical, because if we had all the answers, wouldn't the world start to lose its meaning? You know, there's one thing I noticed. It seems like everyone in the club prefers writing about things that are more sad than happy. Are you surprised? I mean, if everything was okay, we wouldn't really have anything to write about, would we? Humans aren't two-dimensional creatures. I think you'd know that better than anyone. You mean one-dimensional? Ah, yeah, that! Oh, no! Oh, shit! Oh, no, she was the one who... She broke the fourth wall, and her last poem was about save and load. And oh my god! Ah! Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Are you ever too shy to share your writing because you're afraid it's not that good? It can be really disheartening to get a lukewarm response to something you put so much into. But if you find other people who enjoy writing, then sharing becomes a lot easier. Because instead of just telling you that your writing is good or okay or bad, they want to focus more on everything that went into it and the things you can work on. It's much more encouraging that way, and it'll make you want to continue improving. It's almost like having your own little literature club, don't you think? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Okay, you three, we're all done sharing poems, right? Why don't we start figuring out... Hold on a second. Is it just me, or did you say something strange just now? Huh? Something did sound a bit unusual, Yuri says. That's right, you deviated from your usual catchphrase when addressing the club. Catchphrase? I don't have a catchphrase. Jeez, why is the mood so weird today? Look, even Yuri isn't immune to it. Stagnating air is common foreshadowing that something terrible is about to happen, Yuri says. In your books, maybe. Look, the only thing different is that Sayori isn't here. Ah, it seems you're right, Yuri says. Monica, Sayori always helps lighten the mood a little bit, doesn't she? She says. It's almost like everyone's balance is thrown off a little when she's not around. Where the heck did she run off to, anyway? Natsuki says. I thought she just went to pee. Natsuki, please show some decency, Yuri says. Oh, come on. She actually wasn't feeling too well and went home early. Yuri says, oh, is that so? I hope she's alright. Seriously? Natsuki says, of all the times to not go home with her, you picked the time she's not feeling well? So much for you two being all lovey-dovey. No, first of all, stop misunderstanding my friendship with Sayori. And second of all, she's kind of been avoiding me today, so I didn't want to force it. Oh, that Kiri expression coming from Yuri of all people? Calm down, guys, Monica says. I talked to her earlier and everything is fine. What did she say? Anyway, we need to figure out the rest of the festival preparations, so let's decide what everyone will be doing this weekend. I already know what I'm doing, Natsuki says. That's right. Natsuki will be making cupcakes. But we might need a lot of them, and different flavors. Can you handle that all by yourself, Natsuki? Challenge accepted. And as for myself, Monica says, I'm going to be printing and assembling all the poetry pamphlets. Sayori will be helping me design them. And as for Yuri... Hey, what's up, Violet? Monica, Yuri, you can, Guys, can you help me come up with something for Yuri? I'm useless, Yuri says. No, Monica says, that's not it at all. You're the most talented person here, you know? And now Natsuki's pouting too? Jeez, even I can tell now. I guess I never gave Sayori enough credit, but I can tell things are even harder on you when she's not around. Ah, Monica says, that may be the case, but if I can't also be a leader on my own, then I won't grow as a person. It's fucking me up, Violet, if we're being completely honest. I cannot handle the... I cannot handle the dissonance between the fluffy music and the cute anime girls and the horrible, horrible mental illness in the poetry. But if I can't also be a leader on my own, then I won't grow as a person. So Yuri, you have beautiful handwriting, you know? So you should make some banners and decorations to help set the atmosphere. Atmosphere? About that, I love atmosphere, Yuri says. Yuri's expression suddenly changes as she stares at her desk in focus and starts nodding to herself. Your mind is already racing, I see. That's great, Monica says. You'll be a wonderful help, Yuri. But anyway, that just leaves you, Ox. The one who is truly useless. Don't say that. In fact, both Natsuki and Yuri have some pretty heavy tasks to handle, so it'd probably go a long way to give one of them a hand. You could always help me out as well. I'd be really appreciative of that. Is Monica suggesting I spend the weekend with one of my club members? How on earth are they going to respond to a suggestion like that? I suppose I wouldn't mind a bit of help, Yuri says. Well, even if you don't know how to bake, there's always some dirty work I could give to you, Natsuki says. It's not like Monica's going to give me a choice, and you shouldn't be sitting on your butt anyway. Natsuki tries to mumble a bunch of excuses like that. Yuri says, if I recall, Natsuki, you mentioned that you'd like to handle the baking on your own. Ox may not like to be around if you only make him out to be a nuisance, so therefore, he may be more suited to assisting with the decorations, Yuri says. Hold on, I never said that, Natsuki says. How hard could it be to make a few decorations anyway? Sounds more like you're just making excuses for Ox to... What are you saying, Yuri says? It'll be extremely meticulous work, and baking isn't? Just what do you think? Guys, let's settle down for a moment. In the end, I think it's up for Ox to decide how he'd like to contribute. Besides, he hasn't really gotten the chance to spend any time with me yet, you know? So I'm sure he's interested in... You literally just said... I'm surprised as well. Sorry, I was just saying, though. Jeez. Can we just settle this already? Yeah, Ox, you're okay with this, right? In the end, it's up to you. Of course. Very well. In that case, everyone looks straight at me. But of course I'm gonna go with... the decisions! What do I do? Right? That's what I'm thinking, Sam. Because it's like, oh yeah, I got the girl that I like, who I had the cute scene with, but also, like, Sayori's in bad shape. She needs a friend. I mean, if it's gonna be anyone, then I prefer helping Sayori. I mean, we're already neighbors, and... But Monica said that Sayori was helping her. Jeez, do you really hate us that much? No! Sorry, I didn't mean for this to be difficult, Monica says. Just think of the club, okay? Okay, well, I'll probably be most useful helping out Yuri, then. Me? Are you serious? Why would you... Natsuki, I can already tell you're about to say something mean. No, I was just saying... So, you'll be helping Yuri then, Ox? Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm glad. I have a bad habit of overthinking these sorts of things. So I think your assistance will be very useful. That's great to hear. Natsuki, will you be able to handle the baking yourself? I mean, yeah, I already said I'd be fine. Okay, everyone can tell that Natsuki's feeling a little sour. So, is that everything we needed to go over? Hi, Hannah. I'm really, really enjoying it, but also, my head is being extremely fucked with. Yeah, that should be about it, Monica says. Are you guys excited? Well, excited may not be the right word, Yuri says, but I suppose I'm looking forward to it a little bit. Monica says, do you feel the same way, Ox? Me? I guess you could say I'm interested to see how it'll turn out. That's good enough for me. What about you, Natsuki? Natsuki? What? Why is everyone yelling at me? I didn't even do anything. No, that's not what I meant at all. Yuri anxiously glances between everyone in the room. I'm sorry for this. I don't really know why Ox picked me, and also, your cupcakes are the best cupcakes I've ever had. They go really well with my tea. And nothing that I do for the event will compare to that, so... I get it. I'm kind of surprised, though. Why? Well, I'm the one acting immature. I already know that. But you're trying to cheer me up all of a sudden. I know I'm not very good at it. I'm sorry if I said something bad. Natsuki isn't the only one surprised. Monica and I are also taken aback by Yuri's words. When she already has trouble with words, trying to cheer someone up must be far outside her own comfort zone. But I begin to understand. Yuri was trying to sound like Sayori. Even if it didn't work perfectly, I could tell that she tried to say something Sayori would at a time like this. Because Sayori always helps everyone smile and feel good about themselves. No, I kinda appreciated it. I'm sorry for making a big deal out of nothing. But I'm gonna say this. You better bet that my cupcakes are gonna be the best part of the whole event. I believe you, Yuri says. Yeah, Monica says. I hope to see everyone do their best. But with that, there's nothing more for today, so I guess it's time for us to head out. Alright, let's get out of here then. Everyone packs up their things. I start to follow Monica and Natsuki out the door as they chat between each other. Huh? I turn around. Sorry. I realize I don't have any way of contacting you this weekend. Oh, you're right. I can't believe that slipped my mind. Should I give you my phone number? I think that would be the best way, yes. Alright then, Yuri and I exchange phone numbers. Okay, then I'll be stopping by your house on Sunday. My house? Is that a problem? No, not at all. I just thought I'd be the one going to your house since I'm the one helping you. I suppose that makes sense, but if you don't mind, I think I'd prefer going to your house. Alright, in that case it won't be a problem. I decided not to press Yuri for a reason. It's not like it should matter much either way, so I just need to make sure my room is clean. I hope I managed to make myself useful in some way. I'm not nearly as creative as you are. Don't underestimate yourself, Ox. I think that we'll make a very productive team. Even if you only chose me because you felt bad or something. Wait, you don't actually think that, do you? I don't know. It's difficult to come up with any other reason you may have chosen me. You're forgetting the one reason with the most common sense. I chose to help you because that's what I want to do. But... Yuri thinks to herself with an extremely tense expression. Yuri, you're overthinking this. Oh my god! You wanted me to point out when you're overthinking, right? I didn't realize... I'm telling you, I want to. That's all there is to it. Do you believe me? Yuri thinks really hard again. Why are you like this? Why are you like this, Lenore? She looks straight into my eyes for a long while. I believe you. As if it took her tremendous effort, Yuri finally says that and relaxes her expression. And I'm really looking forward to Sunday. Yeah, I am too. After that exchange, I make my way out the door and Yuri follows. I can't believe this. Yuri is going to be coming to my house on Sunday? Even though I would have preferred to do this with Sayori, my anxiety still shoots through the roof. I guess I've gotten pretty used to handling her at this point, but who knows what might end up happening when we're outside of school. She even told me she was looking forward to it. I shake my head. Why do I feel nervous that Sayori finds out about this? It's not like we feel that way about each other. Besides, like Monica said, this is about the club. I have nothing to worry about. If I just go with it, then I'll have a good time. Oh boy, here's the content warning! Alright kids, content warning for depression and self-hate. Let's fucking go. It's already Sunday. I've been getting increasingly anxious about Yuri's upcoming visit. I keep telling myself there's no reason to be nervous, but it doesn't help much. Yuri is clearly an introvert and also an intimate person in general. There's no doubt that she'll open up a little bit when it's just the two of us. Meanwhile, we've even been texting occasionally. She was extremely apprehensive at first, but it wasn't long before I was already learning more about her. But putting Yuri aside, I haven't heard a thing from Sayori since she left club early the other day. It's not like we text each other all the time or anything, but I've been worried about her in the back of my mind. Between what Sayori said and what Monica said, is it really okay for me to put Sayori's feelings aside when she might need me? I decide to visit Sayori before Yuri comes over. Rather than asking, I simply tell her I'm coming over, much like we've done in the past. Once I reach Sayori's house, I knock on the door before entering it myself. Again, we used to play so often that we've made it a habit of simply entering each other's houses like we were family. The house is quiet. Sayori isn't anywhere on the first floor, so I assume she's up in her room. It's already strange of her not to run down and greet me. I head up to her bedroom where I finally find her. Sayori? Hi, Ox. Aww, she's so cute. I sit down in her room. Sayori forces a smile, but it's easy to tell that she's different. There's a minute of silence between us. You haven't come over like this in a long time, have you? I guess you're right. It has been a long time. Not much has really changed, has it? Sayori's room is as messy as it's always been. I also recognize the same stuffed animals and wall decorations that she's had for years now. If you came over more often, it wouldn't be such a mess. It's because I end up cleaning it for you. How come you suddenly wanted to come over today? Aren't you supposed to see Yuri today? Yeah, but... Wait, how did you know that? Sayori had already left by the time we decided that last meeting. Monica told me. It's only natural for her to keep me informed about the festival preparations, right? That's true, but what about you? Aren't you going to be helping Monica today? Of course, but I'm just helping her online. We didn't plan to meet up or anything. So it's just me and Yuri then. Yep. There's more silence between us. Sayori stares in a random direction. Everything about her behavior is really uncharacteristic. I finally get to the point. I just wanted to see how you were doing. After you left on Friday, when something's wrong, you can't hide it from me. I know you too well. So... Sayori smiles, shaking her head. That's no good, Ox. Huh? Why can't it just be like it's always been? This is all my fault. If I didn't get so weak and accidentally express my feelings, if I didn't make that stupid mistake, then you wouldn't have been worried about me at all. You wouldn't have come here. You wouldn't have even been thinking about me right now. But this is just my punishment, isn't it? I'm getting punished for being so selfish. I think that's why the world decided to have you come over today. It just wants to torture me. Sayori! I grab her by the shoulders. What on earth are you saying? Are you listening to yourself right now? I know something happened to you. There's no other explanation for you to be like this. So tell me already. Until I know, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. She gives me an empty smile. You really put me in a trap, Ox. But You're wrong. Nothing happened to me. I've always been like this. You're just seeing it for the first time. Seeing what? What are you talking about, Sayori? You're really just gonna make me say it, aren't you, Ox? I guess I have no choice this time. The thing is, I've had really bad depression my whole life. Did you know that? Why do you think I'm late to school every day? Because most days I can't even find a reason to get out of bed. What reason is there to do anything when I fully know how worthless I am? Why go to school? Why eat? Why make friends? Why make other people put their energy and caring to waste by having them spend it on me? That's what it feels like, and that's why I just want to make everyone happy without anyone worrying about me. I'm in shock. I can't even figure out how to respond. How is it possible that Sayori kept this from me the entire time that I've known her? Does she really want so badly for me to just not think about her? Why, Sayori? Huh? Why is it that you've never told me about this? It almost feels like I've been betrayed as your close friend. Because if I knew, I would have done everything I could to support you. Even if there's only so much that I could do, I would have tried a little bit harder to make every day a little better for you. That's why I'm your friend. All you had to do was tell me. You don't understand at all, Ox. Why do you think I didn't tell you? Because if I told you, then you would have had to waste effort caring about me instead of doing something important. I don't want to be cared about. It's bittersweet when people try to care about me. It feels nice sometimes, but it also feels like a bat being swung against my head. That's why I wanted so badly for you to make friends with everyone else. Helping everyone be happy together is the best thing for me. But then I discovered something else, too. Seeing you make friends and get closer with everyone in the club, it feels like a spear going through my heart. Why is this so heavy? I knew what I was getting into, and I still wasn't ready for this. So that's why. That's why I decided the world just wants to torture me. Every path leads to nothing but hurt. You're right that I don't understand. I don't understand your feelings at all, Sayori, but I don't need to understand. Whatever it takes for me to help you stop hurting, that's what I'll do. No, Ox, there's nothing. Nothing at all. The only thing that could have helped is if everything could be like it always was, but I was selfish. I finally showed you what a horrible person I am. Tears streaked down Sayori's face. I made you join the literature club because I was selfish, and I was punished by my heart hurting in a way that I couldn't understand. And now you came here and I made you hurt too. I'm just weak and selfish, that's all I am. And that's why I'm going to accept these punishments, because I deserve every last one. Without thinking, I once again grab Sayori's shoulders. This time I pull her into a tight embrace. Ox, Sayori. I don't care if you feel selfish. I'm really happy that you convinced me to join the club. Seeing you every day makes it worthwhile enough. If I make friends with everyone else, then that's just a bonus. But please never underestimate how much I care about you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Ox. Sayori isn't hugging me back. Despite my arms being wrapped around her, her arms remain at her sides. She starts sobbing next to my ear. No, don't do this to me. Please don't do this. Ox, Sayori barely manages to speak between sobs. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but all I want is for her to know that I care. If you have it in you to call yourself selfish, then you have to let me be selfish too. No matter what it takes, I'll figure out what needs to change. I'll make these feelings go away, and if there's anything else you need me to do, then you'd better tell me. I'll get mad if you don't. I don't know. I don't know. Gently, Sayori finally puts her arms around me in return. I don't know anything. It's all really scary. I don't understand any of my feelings, Ox. The only time I'm not feeling nothing is when I'm feeling pain. But your hugs are so warm, and that's really scary too. Sayori lets me go. As she does so, I let her go as well. The festival is tomorrow. Yeah. It's gonna be fun, right? Yeah. How'd you like for me to spend it all with you? It's what I want. I promise. I think that would be nice then. Yeah. Sayori wipes her eyes. If I could spend the whole day here, I would. Of all days, this has to be the one where I have other plans. Maybe I should cancel. No, don't. Please don't. If you did that, then I really wouldn't forgive you. But it's almost time for Yuri to meet me at my house. At the very least, do you want to come along and help out? It'd be fun. To my surprise, Sayori shakes her head. I'm sorry, I don't know if that'd be very good for me today. You understand, right? It's kind of hard for me to fully understand, but I'm trying my best. It's okay, don't worry too much about it. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Alright, I look forward to it. Sayori, my sweet child. I say goodbye to Sayori and exit her house. On the way home, I find myself still feeling uneasy, but it's hard for me to keep thinking about when Yuri is about to come over too. I think Sayori is right. I shouldn't be worrying too much, and we're definitely going to have a great time tomorrow. I should just focus on what's ahead of me. As I approach my house, I see something that makes me feel a moment of panic. Yuri? Oh no! Oh, she got the turtleneck! Oh! My heart! Thank goodness. You're a little early. I'm sorry I wasn't home yet. Were you waiting for a long time? No, I just got here, but I started to get really nervous when nobody answered the doorbell. You always could have texted me. If I had known, I would have reassured you and hurried more on my way home. I suppose that's true. I didn't think of that for some reason. It should be common sense to do that, but I decided to ignore it. Anyway, let's go inside. I see you brought a lot of stuff with you. That's right. And did you manage to find everything I asked you to buy as well? Yeah, pretty much. At least I hope I got everything right. I'm sure it'll be fine. I take Yuri to my room. The first thing she does is glance around curiously, which makes me feel anxious. It's so clean. I cleaned it before you came over, so that's very considerate of you to do. No. Yeah, my understanding, Hannah, is that there was not, and I don't know how much I love that, because, like, obviously, like, this game, like, really benefited from that, like, shock factor when it first came out, of, like, but, like, of like, you know, completely being a totally different genre than you'd expect, but, like, now I'm, like, it would be very bad if it didn't have content warnings for the re-release, just because so many people know now, like, what the game is, that, like, there's no excuse not to have that. Ox says, I would be really embarrassed for my room to be a mess while you were here. Well, I do enjoy cleaning. I would have gladly helped you. That'd be even more embarrassing. Wait, don't look in there. I snatched Yuri's wrist, which was in the process of opening a desk drawer of mine. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking for some reason. I was just spacing out. It's fine. I let go of Yuri's wrist. She puts both of her hands firmly in her lap, as if making sure she's keeping track of them. So, should we get started? Yes, I have a few things planned that you can help with. Decorations and other atmospheric enhancements. Atmospheric enhancements? You know, mood lighting, aromatherapy candles. Oh, wow. I didn't know you planned on taking it that far. Of course. I want to help take our guests to a faraway place, although many will stop by just out of curiosity, and for cupcakes, I guess. I'm determined to provide an experience that'll leave them wanting more. That's great. It's easy to forget that you're a pretty intense person. Intense? I guess that's the best way to put it. Is that a bad thing? No, not at all. It's something that I like about you, actually. Is that so? That makes me feel relieved. And kinda happy. Yeah, no need to be so anxious. You can relax a little. Relax. I brought some things for relaxation. I was going to use them during the poetry event. Oh yeah? Like what? Like a fat doobie. Let's see. Yuri rummages through her bag. She pulls out a few candles and a wooden cylinder-shaped object. I did some shopping on the way here, so I happen to have these in my bag. I plan to cover the windows in black paper and use the candles to light the room. I think that'd be amazing, don't you? Yeah, that'd be really neat. What's that wooden thing, though? Oh, this? It's a diffuser for essential oils. How familiar are you with aromatherapy? Not familiar at all. Ah, is that so? It's one of my favorite contributors to a positive atmosphere. Depending on the oils or herbs you choose, you can change the mood of the air itself. You can even feel it permeate through your body. Relaxation, positive energy, romance, reflection. It's almost like magic. Yuri takes the cylinder and pushes a switch on the bottom. In just a moment, a thin ray of vapor begins to spout through a small hole on the top. Wow, that smells wonderful. What kind of mood is that one for? This is a jasmine essential oil. It smells a little sweet and flowery, right? Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I chose jasmine for the event because it provides more than relaxation. Jasmine enhances your emotions and help you feel them flow through your body. You feel warmer and your heart pounds more heavily. Don't you think that'll be perfect for sharing our poems? It does sound suitable, but you seem to know a lot about this, so I'll trust your opinion with anything. Yuri smiles gently, clearly enjoying herself. She reaches into her bag and pulls out several spools of thin ribbon. What are those for? Well, did you purchase the origami paper I asked you to get? Yeah, I've got it over here. We won't be using the paper for folding origami. What I'd like to do is write a different word on each paper. We'll need about 100 of them. Oh yeah? What'll those be used for? Well, I'm going to cut pieces of ribbon to hang from the doorway of the classroom. Then we could fasten the papers onto the ribbons to create a doorway curtain. Wouldn't that be beautiful? It would also catch the eye of those passing by the room. It may attract some to peek inside. That's really creative. I had no idea you'd become so good at this, Yuri. Is that so? Well, I suppose I do get a little intense, as you'd put it. Yuri giggles with red cheeks. Is it just me, or is she more relaxed when it's just the two of us? Or maybe it's the excitement she feels from sharing something she enjoys. Here's a marker, Ox. You can write any characters you want. I'll help you once I finish cutting the ribbons. Oh, alright. Sitting on the floor together, the two of us get to work. I carefully draw a different character on each paper, doing my best to manage my bad handwriting. Yuri unravels a long strand of red ribbon to her desired length. Then she reaches into her bag once more and pulls out a pocket knife. The knife is strangely beautiful. The silver handle has an intricate pattern of waves etched into it. The blade itself is gently tinted blue. It's no ordinary pocket knife. It looks really fancy. Well... Embarrassed, Yuri looks away. What is it? You're gonna think it's weird. Yuri, whatever it is, I have no reason to judge. To each their own, you know? If you promise you won't be weirded out... I think it's the beautiful knife that she wrote about in one of her poems, which is, Whoo, doggy. Yeah, I promise. Alright. The thing is, I'm kinda into knives. They're just so pretty. I can't help it. I don't know what it is. The combination of craftsmanship and the feeling of danger, maybe? What am I saying? Please don't think I'm weird for this. You're laughing at me. No, I'm not laughing at you. It's just funny how nervous you got about sharing. It's an interesting thing to be into, I guess. But I think it kind of suits you. Suits me? Yeah, it's kind of intense. Besides, it's a really cool looking knife. I can't deny that. It is, isn't it? Yuri relaxes her expression once again. Would you like to hold it? Sure, I'll check it out. Yuri carefully hands me the knife with the handle facing me. I take it and turn it around in my hands. It feels heavy and extremely solid. Where do you even get a knife like this? Curious of its sharpness, I feel the point of the knife with my index finger. Ow! Ox, why did you do that? I didn't expect it to be that sharp. I barely touched it at all. It's my fault. I should have warned you. This knife is extremely sharp. It can cut through skin like it's paper. Oh, no! Oh, God, I was right about the bread and the raccoon! Oh, no. A small drop of blood trickles down the side of my finger. Yuri takes my hand and gives the wound a closer look. She stares at it and noticeably fidgets. If you're squeamish, I'll go wash it off now. Without warning, Yuri puts my finger in her mouth and licks the wound. I feel her tongue curl around my finger. Startled, I instinctively pull my hand back. Oh, please forgive me. I wasn't thinking. Yuri lowers her head, her face burning up. Yuri, that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. How could I do something like that? I'm sorry. Sure, it was a little weird. It took me by surprise, but I guess she was just trying to help, right? Yuri, I think you're overreacting a little. She doesn't lift her head. What if she doesn't recover from this for the rest of the afternoon? Alright, you know what? This might be a stupid thing to do, but I do it anyway. I take Yuri's hand and lick her index finger in return. Ox, did you really just do that? Now we're even. Yuri just looks at me like I did something wrong. I knew that would be a bad idea. If not for the sweet aroma of the jasmine oil, the air would be extremely heavy right now. You're so weird, Ox. She giggles shyly. Huh? Yuri calling me weird? I have no response to that. Where do you keep your bandages? I don't think I need one, actually. It was a tiny cut. Look, it already stopped bleeding. I see. That's relieving. The tension is quickly lifted. We each resume our respective activities. I watch Yuri's knife cut through the ribbon like it's nothing but air. Meanwhile, I continue to make my progress on the paper. After we finish attaching the paper to the ribbons, we lay them all out side by side. It looks better than I expected and will be very effective as a door curtain. It looks great. Good thinking coming up with this, Yuri. Thanks. It's just something I saw online, really. Are you ready to move on to the next task? Yeah, let's do it. What do you have in mind? I'd like to create a banner. That's why I asked you to buy the paint tablets. Oh, that's right. One of the items Yuri had asked me to buy was a kit of watercolor paint tablets. We'll need about 6 cups of water to put each of the tablets in. Do you mind fetching those for us? Of course not. 6 cups of water. I'll be right back in a minute. Thank you very much. Oh, and just a little bit of water is okay. If you fill the cups too much, it'll be too diluted. Taking Yuri's advice, I decide to use small plastic bathroom cups rather than full-size glasses. I put them on a plate to catch any paint that drips, then bring it back into my room. Yuri? Yes? I come in to see Yuri quickly unrolling her sleeve, putting it back over her arm! No! I knew it! I knew it! I was right! Nothing. Your face is a little red. Is it too hot in here or anything? No, not at all. There's nothing wrong, so let's mix the paint. Yuri hurriedly dismisses me and takes it upon herself to unwrap the tablets, dropping them into the cups. I knew it! I knew it, Sam! I knew it! The knife and the bread and the raccoon! I knew it! So, I thought we'd do something simple that would look very nice. I'd like to paint a gradient across the banner, starting with the colors for sunrise, then daytime, then sunset and nighttime. Once it dries, I'll write an inspirational quote across the banner. We can hang it on the wall behind the podium at the front of the classroom. Ah, neat. What are you gonna write? Well, it'll be more fun to surprise you. Yuri smiles at me. If you say so. After rolling out the banner, Yuri and I kneel on opposite sides so we don't get in the way of each other. Yuri uses a brush and adds a few dots of different colors across the banner to serve as a color guide when we paint. This kind of reminds me of elementary school. Painting on a banner with watercolors feels a lot like the art class projects we had back then. It's relaxing. Yeah. Oh my god, it's rough because it's like I really love how well written this is because this is what it's like. I'm sorry if this feels too childish. No, I didn't mean that at all. It's kind of fun, you know? Yeah, it is fun. I'm glad you feel that way too. Yuri stops painting for a moment, thinking to herself, for me, I don't need to go out and do crazy things to have fun. In fact, I usually don't even want to. I just like when I can spend time with one other person. Even if it's something simple like reading, it doesn't even matter if we don't talk much. Just having a friend next to me makes me feel things a little bit nicer. I think that's all it takes for me to be happy. Is that so? Even if Yuri and I are quite different, I can understand where she's coming from. I feel that way about things like anime and games, where simply sharing the experience with someone can make me happy. I think I feel the same way. Yuri smiles gently. I knew you'd understand. Yuri leans over the banner to grab an unused paintbrush, but I move at the same time, causing my head to bump into hers. Sorry. Yuri reels back, and I quickly lift my hands in surprise. Are you hurt? no, I'm not hurt. It just startled me, that's all. Sorry, I should have asked you to get it for me. It's not your fault. Ah, your face. There are droplets of paint on Yuri's face and neck. Is there something on my face? Yeah, I accidentally got some paint on you. Sorry, it's totally my fault. I'll get a towel right away. I rush out and fetch a small towel, then I dampen it with hot water. I return to my room and kneel back down in front of her. Here. I pat down Yuri's face and neck with the towel. Is something wrong? It's hot, I just didn't expect it. Sorry. I didn't want to use cold water. Having finished, I start to retract my hand, but Yuri suddenly holds my wrist. Wait. Huh? Just for a little longer. It feels really nice. Ah. I keep my hand still against Yuri's neck. She looks into my eyes. It's an intense expression that I recognize from when she reads her books. Almost as if she's lost in a daze, enveloped in her own thoughts. She breathes gently, half through slightly parted lips. What is happening? Is it the aroma of the jasmine oil giving me this dizzy feeling? Yuri's gentle fingers wrapped around my wrist send a tingling sensation through my arm. And suddenly her face seems to be much closer to mine than it was just a moment ago. She slowly pulls away. Sorry. I've been feeling a little lightheaded today. I didn't mean to space out. It's fine. The moment is over as soon as it began. Yuri picks up her brush again. But her movements seem clumsier, like she's unable to focus. I remain silent, forced to ignore the event that just transpired. I hesitantly retrieve my own brush and continue following Yuri's example. I should do it. I finish filling the night sky with white dots that look like stars. Looking at the banner as a whole, it's very pretty and natural looking. I think it came out looking better than expected. I'm really happy with the results. Yeah, me too. Are you gonna add the lettering now? Not yet. It needs to dry first. That's true, but won't that take a while? Well, perhaps it'd be best to leave it here, then have you bring it in the morning? I can do the lettering in the classroom before our event starts. I mean, I kinda am! Is that okay? That's totally fine. Wonderful. In that case, I don't think there's anything more for us to do here. You say that like you're glad it's over. Was I wrong to assume that you're at least enjoying yourself a little bit? Oh, no, it's not that. I'm just glad we managed to get everything done. I see. I am too. I was a little concerned about time. I need to start making dinner soon. So you don't have any time left? I was secretly hoping we'd have extra time after finishing the work. Well, Yuri thinks to herself. I think it'd be too irresponsible of me to wait too much longer. I'm sorry. I was hoping there'd be more time as well. It's probably my fault. Sorry for being such a slow worker. No, it's not your fault at all, and the important thing is that we got everything done, right? Yeah. So, I shouldn't be disappointed or anything. Gathering all her things, Yuri seems to look a little downcast. I understand why. It sounded like she rarely gets the opportunity to spend time with friends in a relaxed environment. You dense motherfucker! But that doesn't mean that this is the last time it can happen. Once Yuri packs up, I walk her out the front door. Thank you very much for having me today. No problem, I'm glad I was able to help. Just let me know if there's anything else you need me to bring tomorrow. I will. Well then, Yuri fidgets. I guess I'll see you tomorrow? Wait, I kind of say that without thinking. About today, it's fine that we didn't have as much time as we wanted, because we can do this again. Whenever you want, you can come over, we can go out somewhere. I forgot, you don't like going out much. As I stumble over my words, Yuri simply smiles bashfully. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, so... You're very thoughtful, Ox. Yuri takes a step closer to me, then briefly squeezes my hand. I kind of like that about you. Well, how am I supposed to respond to that? But I don't even get a chance to, as Yuri suddenly pulls back. Sayori? Huh? Hi, Ox. Sayori, just now, we weren't... It's okay, Ox. I just stopped by to say hi. Well, it's nice to see you. I'm sorry, but I'm already on my way to leave. Oh, really? That's too bad. I'm sorry. We'll all be together at the festival tomorrow, so that's fine, right? Of course, Sayori beams. Yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. Clearly embarrassed, Yuri hurries off. Sayori waves goodbye after her. Sayori, I thought you didn't want to come over today. Well, I tried staying in my room, but my imagination was being really mean to me, so I had to come here and see it for myself. See what? What are you talking about? You know, how much fun you were having with Yuri, and how close you got to her. It makes me really happy that you've made such good friends. That's all that matters to me. Tears start to fall down Sayori's face. That's all that matters to me. Why am I feeling this way, Ox? I'm supposed to be happy for you. Why does it feel like my heart is splitting in half? It hurts so much. Everything hurts so much. This would be so much better if I could just disappear. Sayori, don't say that. It's true, Ox. If I wasn't here, then you wouldn't have to waste your sympathy on me. You wouldn't have to put up with me being selfish. Monica was right. I should just... Monica? Monica was right about what? Sayori, what I said before is true. I'm not going to let this continue. Caring about you like this isn't the burden your mind is making it out to be. It's something that makes me happy. It's something that I wouldn't trade for anything else. Hey, what's up, Sadie? I'm broken. I'm broken inside. We've destroyed Sam. It's something that I wouldn't trade for anything else. So even if it takes an entire lifetime, I'm going to be by your side until you don't feel any more pain. But... Sayori looks away. I put a hand on her shoulder to reassure her. I'm scared, Ox. I'm really scared. What are you scared of, Sayori? I'm scared that I might like you more than you like me. Sayori? It's true, isn't it? I was weak and started to like you too much. I did this to myself. Ox, I like you so much that I want to die. That's how I feel. And it's enough, Sayori. I don't want you to hurt anymore. I slide my hand down Sayori's arm and squeeze her hand in my own. Do you remember how I said I always know what's best for you? Do you still believe me? Sadie, I think I'm on the Yuri route. Oh, I know it gets worse. Like, this game has been out for years. The cultural seal broke a long time ago. I know it gets worse. I just don't have specifics. You still believe me? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Even if you don't understand all of your own feelings, I know what you need the most right now, and that's what I'm going to give you. Oh, God! What am I supposed to do? No, there's I know this choice. I know this choice. I've seen this in real life. You'll always be my dearest friend. What you need most is for things to be like they've always been. Monica told me the truth. She told me how much happier you seemed after I joined the club. I know you're struggling with some really difficult feelings right now, but please trust me that I know what's best and what'll make you happy in the end. I promise I'll help getting things back to the way they were. I see. Sayori forces a smile through an incredibly pained expression. Haha. Is this what it feels like to get stabbed in the chest? I should write a poem about this. Sayori, it's okay. This is just my punishment, remember? For being so selfish, so please don't worry about these stupid feelings. I know you're right. I knew this whole time that there's no happiness down that path. That's why I came here, just so I could get the answer I needed to hear. And the other thing, you're also right that I just want it to go back to the way it was. I realize that now. You really do know me better than anyone, Ox. I'll trust you with anything. Anything at all. So, Sayori's smile finally breaks. All of a sudden, she turns around and drops to her knees. And screams. I'm not reading that out loud. Clutching her head with both hands, she screams as loudly as she can. I'm so shocked that I don't know how to react. Sayori looks over her shoulder and flashes me one more weak smile before turning around and running off. Sayori! I'm left helplessly standing in front of my house. Why am I feeling so horrible about this? There's nothing more that I could have done. The most I can do is support Sayori through her feelings and help her on the path that's right. But I'm having as much trouble understanding Sayori's feelings as she is. Even though I can comfort her, I keep wondering if I should be doing something more or something different. I know these thoughts will continue to plague me until things are back to the way they were. I'm going to give it everything I've got. Sayori will always be my dearest friend, and I'll do whatever it takes to put a smile on her face every day. Like, yeah, exactly. And, like, not gonna... Oh, Christ! Well... So I was gonna say that you shouldn't lie to somebody about the way that you feel about them. For what it's worth, Ferret, we had the discussion earlier about the content warnings and how, we had a discussion earlier about the content warnings and how, like, this would, it would be kind of unacceptable at this point in, you know, at this point in the, like, at this many years down the line since the game came out, to not put the content warnings in, because, like, the cultural seal is broken. Like, we know that stuff like this is in the game. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like the content warnings are there for a reason. You have to be, it's good to be prepared for this kind of stuff, especially since, yeah, no, I get you. It's the day of the festival. Of all days, I expected this to be the one where I'd be walking to school with Sayori. But she's not answering her phone. I considered going to her house to wake her up, but decided that's a little much. Meanwhile, the preparations for the event should be nearly complete. The banner Yuri and I painted is dry, and I gently rolled it up to take it with me. She sent me a pleasant text reminding me not to forget anything, and I reassured her. Funnily enough, I probably feel the same way as Natsuki about the event. I'm more excited for it to be over so I can spend time with Sayori and Yuri at the festival. But knowing Monica, I'm sure the event will be great too. Ox, Monica says, you're the first one here. Thanks for being early. It's funny, I thought at least Yuri would be here by now. Monica's placing little booklets on each of the desks in the classroom. They must be the ones she prepared that all have the poems we're performing. In the end, I found a random poem online that I thought Monica would like and submitted it. So that's the one I'll be performing. I'm surprised you didn't bring Sayori with you. Yeah, she overslept again. That dummy. You'd think that on days this important she'd try a little harder. I say that, but I suddenly remember what Sayori told me yesterday, and I suddenly feel awful knowing that it's not nearly that simple for her. I only said it because it's the way I'm used to thinking, but maybe I should have gone to wake her up after all? You should take a little responsibility for her, Ox. I mean, especially after your exchange with her yesterday. You kind of left her hanging this morning, you know? Exchange? Monica, you know about that? Of course I do. I'm the club president, after all. But, I stammer embarrassed, did Sayori really tell her about it that quickly? About how I basically turned down her confession? That really makes me feel like the bad guy here, but I'm the one who knows what's best for her, right? Jeez. You don't know the full story at all, so don't worry. I probably know more than you think. Huh? Monica's being friendly as usual, but for some reason I felt a chill down my spine after hearing that. Hey, do you want to check out the pamphlets? They came out really nice. Yeah, sure. I grabbed one of the pamphlets laid out on the desks. Oh, yeah, they really did. Something like this will definitely help people take the club more seriously. Yeah, I thought so too. I flipped through the pages. Each member's poem is neatly printed on its own page, giving it an almost professional feel. I recognized Natsuki's and Yuri's poems from the ones they performed during our practice. What's this? I flipped to Sayori's poem. It's different from the one she practiced. It's one that I haven't read before. Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head. Continues to get out of my head. Get out of my head before I do what I know is best for you. Get out of my head before I listen to everything she said to me. Get out of my head before I show you how much I love you. Get out of my head before I finish writing this poem. But a poem is never actually finished. It just stops moving.
Oh no.
What is this? Reading the poem, I get a pit in my stomach. Ox, what's wrong? Nothing. This poem feels completely different from everything else Sayori's written. But more than that, I changed my mind. I'm going to get Sayori, so... well, alright. Try not to take too long, okay? I quickly leave the classroom. Don't strain yourself. Monica calls that out after me. I quicken my pace. What was I thinking? I should have tried a little bit harder for Sayori. It's not a big deal to at least wait for her, to help wake her up. Even the simple gesture of walking her to school makes her really happy. Besides, I told her yesterday that things will be the same as they've always been. That's all she needs and what I want to give her. I reach Sayori's house and knock on the door. I don't expect an answer since she's not picking up her phone either. Like yesterday, I opened the door and let myself in. Sayori? She really is a heavy sleeper. I swallow. I can't believe I ended up doing this after all. Waking her up in her own house. Isn't that more like something a boyfriend would do? In any case, it just feels right. Outside Sayori's room, I knock on her door. Sayori? Wake up, dummy. There's no response. Really didn't want to have to enter her room like this. Isn't it kind of a breach of privacy? But she leaves me no choice. I gently open the door. Oh, Jesus! Oh my god! What the hell? What the hell? Is this a nightmare? It has to be. This isn't real. There's no way this could be real. Sayori wouldn't do this. Everything was normal up until a few days ago. That's why I can't believe what my eyes are showing me. I suppressed the urge to vomit. Just yesterday, I told Sayori I would be there for her. I told her I know what's best and that everything will be okay. Then why would she do this? How could I be so helpless? What did I do wrong? Turning down her confession. That has to have been what pushed her over the edge. Her agonized scream still echoes in my ears. Why did I do that to her when she needed me the most? Why was I so selfish? This is my fault. My swarming thoughts keep telling me everything I could have done to prevent this. If I just spent more time with her, walked her to school, gave her what I know she wanted out of a relationship, then I could have prevented this. I know I could have prevented this. Screw the literature club. Screw the festival. I just lost my best friend, someone I grew up with. She's gone forever now. Nothing I do can bring her back. This isn't some game where I can reset and try something different. I had only one chance and I wasn't careful enough, and now I'll carry this guilt with me until I die. Nothing in my life is worth more than hers, but I still couldn't do what she needed from me, and now I can never take it back. Never, 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 never. The end. This game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Oh! Oh! Okay, this is where we stop for the night. This is where we stop for the night. Hi, Katie Cat. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I don't know if actually don't know if you're someone I know or not, or if you're just kind of hanging out and lurking. So I appreciate the hangout though. Holy shit, that was an experience. So I'm definitely... Oh, okay, cool. Well, welcome. Thanks for chilling. And, yeah, that was an experience for sure. I think this is definitely where I'm going to call it for the night. And, we will go ahead and get back to this next week, because, I want to see what happens on future runs, because I did know going in that after the end of the first run, the game like starts actively fucking with you. So I'm very interested to see where it goes. But holy shit, I need a week to fucking detox. If I stream again this week, I will post it on Twitter, and I will throw up links in Discord and stuff. But I probably will not be playing this until next Thursday. So, thanks for hanging, everybody. I had a great time. I'm over an hour after I said I was going to stop. So, I will catch y'all later. Deuces.